Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Cloud Box. And in this video, obviously, I'm not going to discuss about the new skills or the new topic or the new interview question. Instead of that, I came with one of the important video, how we can upskill or how someone can transition themselves into data engineering world. Okay. The idea was to make this video because when I personally felt how someone can become Azure data engineer, and when I hit on the YouTube or across the internet, a lot of informations are available, and informations are in a scattered form, and there are a lot of things are available. Probably if you see and if you see like, oh, these many things I have to do. So the idea was to making this video. I'll make this video in a concise manner. If you follow those learnings, okay, those paths, probably you can become a better data engineer. Okay. So without wasting any further time, let me quickly introduce my channel. So the channel name is the Cloud Boss, of course, and here I upload video related to the Azure data engineering. This consists of Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, Spark SQL. So if someone is new to data engineering and they want to upskill, probably they can follow my channel. They can get the learnings from here. Or if you're already working as a data engineer and you are facing some issues or the challenges, the things which are getting used in the project, basically day to day, those things are also available. And not only that, I upload video related to the interview questions as well. So if you see, right, so many videos you can see that came into the interview questions for the American Express interview or the interview for the Walmart. So, this kind of video also you will find. So now I'm starting the PPT. Okay. So come to the PPT. You already know, if you do not know what is the data engineer, so the data engineer basically transform the data, ingest the data, load the data, and they do some the data transformation and provide the raw data into the meaningful information to the data scientist or the reporting team, so that data can be further get used. Okay. So forget about the definition. Okay. So let's say there are the cloud data engineer, there are on-premise data engineer. Everything is moving on the cloud. So our focus is how we can become a cloud data engineer. So if you're talking about the cloud data engineer, so we have a few data engineers like Azure data engineer, AWS data engineer, the GCP data engineer. Concept will be always same. Okay. The data engineer, but the services which we use in Azure, AWS, GCP, that is also same, but only the naming and the little bit, basically the change would be there. Okay. Then further comes the basically the Databricks. This is the leading in the market. Obviously, you someone see that they are the Snowflake data engineer. So this platform can be integrated with any of the cloud. Okay. So after that, there are a lot of videos are available, right? And you are going to see, right? Which video we can follow. So obviously, the question will come in your mind, why you should follow me, right? Why you should go with my video, right? So let me introduce myself as well. So I am having total around 7 years of total experience and having 5+ year in Azure data engineering. I am a Databricks certified, basically the professional as well as associate level data engineer. Apart from that, I have done the DP203, that is Azure data engineer, Azure fundamental, and the data fundamental from Azure side. And I was a person who just not only came from a little city or a small city. I just completed BCA and started working with the TCS. Okay, and I was initially into the support project, and there I just got a chance to upskill myself, and then the things got started. So, and then after I have completed MCA as well. Okay. So now, when it's time for change, I had cracked multiple offers, including all other the big fours. Okay. So my journey started with TCS. I stayed in TCS around 4.9 years. Then I joined the organization called PwC. There I worked approximately 2 years, and currently I'm working with Deloitte USA. So the idea was, if I can do it, then everyone can do it. Okay. And that's what all things I have followed, I'm going to give you, so you can also follow those and you can become a better uh, uh, data engineer. Okay. So okay, so now coming with what all those skills are required. Okay. So first, if you see, I am going to give you the skill set for Azure data engineer as well as the Databricks data engineer. Okay. So if you are a data engineer with Azure, Databricks, or let's say GCP, AWS, so two most things are really important and it's common to all across the platform. Okay. So basically, if you see, you need to learn basically the Python. Any of the coding language is required, but some platforms support Scala as well. But I will recommend to learn the Python. Reason is because this Python is simple to learn and it's like you can do a lot of things. If you have to move yourself into the AI and the machine learning, probably Python can handle it. Okay, so in the Python, you have to learn the loop concept, that is for loop and while loop. You have to learn the string. Okay, so if you learning a string, then probably what are all those activities you can do with the string, things that you can learn, like reverse of a string. That's basically then obviously the data structure for the Python, like list, tuple, and the dictionary. This you can learn. You can also learn the set operations. Then again, if complete all those things, you can start learning on the classes, object, and the functions. Okay, because this you can write your code, right, but it needs to be well structured. So this, for that reason, you have to write the function for each code. Then probably you can you learn the list comprehensions. Okay, it is really simple and it's really easy. Okay, also exception handling, because you are writing the program, this exception handling is really required. And probably you can learn the file input output. At least these things you have to learn for the Python. Okay, so these are the, if you talk about the Python is really vast, you cannot learn so many things, so just focus on these things. Okay, if you want to skip, then you can skip the file input output, but I would recommend please go ahead and learn that. Okay, apart from that, that is a basic of Python that is required for any of, either you are data analyst, data engineer, or you are working as a machine learning engineer or a AI engineer, then probably this concept would be required. Now, if you talk about for the data engineer, there is platform called that is a framework called the PySpark. Okay, so PySpark is nothing but a Spark is a framework and which adds a flavor of a Python. So it's a Python for a Spark, that is a PySpark that you have to learn, and also Python pandas you have to learn. You can understand the NumPys, but NumPys I'm skipping because NumPy is not really required for data engineering. So Python pandas you have to learn. These things from the Python you have to cover it anyhow. Okay. Now coming to the SQL. So any other SQL if you follow, you can follow the SQL Server, you can follow the Postgres, you can follow the Oracle SQL. That is the basic concept you can learn. But you have to write in a Spark SQL, right? If you are working on a Databricks, or if you are working as a Azure data engineer, mostly you have to write into the Azure SQL or through the SQL server on the SSMS. Okay. So what all those things in SQL you have to learn? You have to learn the DDL, that is a very basic thing, right? That is the data definition language. You have to learn the DML, that is the data manipulation language. You have to learn the aggregate function, right? Then you have to learn what is the group by. Then you have to learn what is the window function. Then what is the CTE, indexing and optimization. This is basically the bare minimum thing you have to learn in SQL at any cost. Indexing probably you can skip because on the cloud Spark we are not using it, but better if you learn, it is going to help you. So Python and SQL is fine, right? Now moving to the next slide. Okay. If you just want to note down, just pause my video, go back and note down all those things and start learning. Okay. In the last, I will tell you from where you can start this learning. Okay. So from the Azure tech stack, what all things you can follow? So there is something called the data factory. Probably maybe if you are new, you will not understand what is that, but just note down things and just start learning from YouTube or the Udemy. Okay. So from Azure tech stack, that things we have to learn, that is the data factory. Data factory, I will give you the one line example, that is orchestration tool. It's ingest the data, transform the data, and probably load the data, and everything you can do using the data factory. Then it involves the multiple transformations like I mean and transformation functions as well as the activity. Like you have to copy the data, you have to delete the data, you have to iterate it, you have to do the, you have to find the metadata. All those things would be there for the data factory. Then probably for any of the cloud, you need to store the data, right? So you have to learn a storage account. So from Azure side, we have ADLS and the basically the blob storage that you can learn. Then you have to learn the SQL. So for Azure, that is Azure SQL, and it's on premise. It is called the SQL Server. Okay. Then followed by that, we have a linked services. That is the linked services is part of the data factory. Why I have added it here? It's basically stabilized the connection between the two resources inside the data factory. Then we have followed by that we have to learn basically the data set. Data set is nothing but it's defined the type of file. Let's say you are working as a data engineer, so you have a CSV file, Parquet file, this kind of information it is going. Now we have to work in a agile fashion, right? So someone uses the Jira and someone uses the Azure, basically the DevOps. Okay, so Azure DevOps is something which is going to implement for the CI/CD. It means that change issue are working. You need to continuous integrate those changes, and then we have to basically CD. It means you have to deploy as well, right? So continuous integration and continuous deployment of your work in a agile fashion. So is so you will see the board, right? You have a user story assigned. So these kind of things you can follow using the Azure tech stack. Now coming to the Databricks. So people alone can work on the Databricks, or what they can do, they can integrate the data factory with the Databricks for the uh, scale up their work. Okay, so first from the Databricks side, it is a platform where you write your Spark code using the PySpark or SQL or Scala even, but we are interested about PySpark or SQL. So from Databricks side, you have to learn the Spark architecture. Okay, this architecture you understand. Then you have to followed by that, we have to learn what is the workspace and what is the notebook which we are going to create. Then we have to learn one framework of a Spark that we can going to write, that is a PySpark. A lot of things, how to read the file, how to write the file, how to do the certain transformation, how to rename the column, how to remove the column, how to load the data, these kind of things, and various optimizations using PySpark that you have to learn. If you are working with SQL, probably you can understand the same function. That is a SQL. It means read the table, write the table, add the column, alter command, update the things using the Spark SQL type you have to learn. Apart from that, Databricks has a Databricks workflow. So inside Databricks workflow, that how this notebook, one notebook are attached to each other, that is the sequence of the notebook. That is the workflow. That is the orchestration we say. Okay. Now, if you come to that, if you complete that, we need to move out to the basically to the delta tables. So the delta table are in a fashion nowadays because this is from the Databricks. So there are a lot of things you have to study and read on the delta tables. Do not get scared, but yeah, it is really important. So delta tables is basically that you have to learn. It's nothing but a normal table, but it's supports so many files and everything that optimizations and all you do. We have a delta life table. So we have basically the batch job, we have a streaming job. So for the batch job, we use the delta tables. For the streaming job, we use basically the delta life tables. Okay. Then if you complete that, if you do not work on the delta life table, skip it as of now, but you just complete the delta tables. Okay, just search on the YouTube what is a delta table. You will see a lot of learnings on data table. Just complete that. Then followed by that, just learn all or the various optimization techniques on the delta tables. Okay, and then how you can do the optimization on the delta table as well as the normal, basically the notebook as well using the PySpark. Okay. And probably that you have to implement, learn how you can connect your Databricks report to the CI/CD with Azure DevOps, or you are integrate with the Jira. Anything is fine. Okay. Now this learnings is fine, right? If you want, you can go ahead and pause the video. You can go ahead and just stop the video and just note down all those things you have to learn. Okay, now coming to the certification side, it's not really important. It's really important, but it's not basically the mandatory that you should have, then only you are a data engineer. It's not like that, but it is going to give you an advantage over other candidates to at least give you the interview calls or like showcase your skills to the client. Okay, so from Azure side, since you are working on any of the cloud, that's basically the basic or the fundamental certification is always required. That is the Azure fundamental. It is give you the high level overview of the Azure part. Okay, this how this services and all. Then we have a data fundamental. So you are working on a data, so at least you should know this about the data. So that is a Azure data fundamental that you can. Now, earlier Microsoft has something called DP203, which I have done. That is a Azure Data Engineer. That is data engineer for Azure. But now that certification is not in a picture. They have removed from this month, April, or I mean, okay. So they have came with the Fabric. Okay, so Fabric is basically one of the competitor of the Databricks or the Snowflake, you can say, or the AWS Glue. So, so for that they have implemented that is the DP 700. That is the Microsoft, basically the data engineer. Okay, so that you can do. That is the recommended if you are only working on Azure Tech Stack. Now moving to the Databricks. Okay, so from the Databricks, that is a fundamental. That is the Lakehouse. It is the fundamental certification from the Databricks. Now, if you're working as a data engineer, it is always good you can have the data engineer associate, and it is trust me, this is the certification which can give you the interview calls. Okay, and if you are good enough, you have a really good hands-on on the database, you know end-to-end everything of database, just go ahead for the professional one. You can complete it later after gaining 1 or 2 year of experience, but that is these two certifications are really important, and this probably you can complete it later. Okay, certification side, is it fine, guys? Okay, I'll move to the next slide. Okay, so now you have noted out the learning, you have completed the learning, you have completed the projects, right? This is not sufficient for getting interview calls. You need to complete the projects, right? So there are a lot of learnings are available. So there are channel called YouTube. So I mean platform called YouTube. Then we have something called the Udemy. Then we have, I mean, you complete this from the Udemy and the YouTube, and followed by that, you can find a lot of codes available on the GitHub. But like only code you can see, you cannot understand. So you need to watch those videos. So go ahead and search on the Udemy. That's the project for the data engineer, Azure data engineer. On the YouTube, you will find so many videos, and probably I'll not say name, otherwise copyright will come. So probably you just go ahead and search it. You will find it. Okay. Apart from that, we have coding preparation. Okay, you have completed the SQL concept. You have completed the Python. From where you can do the practice. Okay. So for the SQL, we have a lead code. Obviously, lead code is very famous for the any of the coding languages, either is SQL, Python, any other thing. Just complete the easy to the medium question for the SQL. And for the SQL, there is really beautiful website that is the Strata Scratch. Go ahead and do that. And for the Python coding after lead code, I mean, before lead code, you can start with the Geeks for Geeks. You can go ahead and search the Python coding example, and you can start using those. It is really going to help you. So the idea is you need to complete the Python and SQL first. So just start learning Python SQL and complete this. Then you move on to the Azure thing and the data factory and all those stuffs, and you move to the Databricks, learn those things, and then what you can do, though then probably you have to do the hands-on by own. Whatever the project you have seen, you need to take the subscription, you need to implement by your things, then only you will get the confidence. Then the last thing would be resume building according to like what you have done, and you can apply the job on the job portals, and through the LinkedIn as well, and through the referrals. So the last point is from where we can get this PySpark learnings and all. Okay, so probably hit the YouTube channel. You can see the PySpark learnings are available. Just go end to end. You will see. Then followed by that, you complete the end to end courses. So that's it for today, guys. If you really like this video and if you see this video is going to help you for the learning, it is fine, and I will probably going to provide this PPT URL in the description. Stay tuned for the next video. If have not already subscribed my channel, please do so. You will get a lot of things from here. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.